How's it going, everybody? Today we are back in Scum with the news. We haven't done one of these in quite a while, so today we are going to take a look at some of the things that are going to be coming to the video game with future updates. And speaking of future updates, update 1.0 is planned for quarter 2 of this year, and the second quarter of the year is April, May and June. So if everything goes according to plan between April and June, we should see the big 1.0 update. And it looks like quite a few changes are coming to the game, and one of the biggest ones is the environment. The terrain is going to change quite a bit, and it is going to be improved and enhanced. It is going to look a lot better than it does right now. This is how the terrain looks right now just above the radio tower in C2. In the distance we can see the outpost as well, but with future updates, this is how the environment is going to look in the same area. As we can see, the trees look a lot different, and so does the snow on the ground. We have another side by side right here in the same area just outside of the radio tower in sector C2. This is how the area looks right now, and this is how it's going to look once the environment is going to be reworked. And of course we are going to see improvements everywhere, not just in the snowy parts of the map. We have a shot here of the B2 airport, and again, this is how it looks right now, and this is how it is going to look later on when we are going to get this new environment update. It looks a lot better for sure. One thing that I really like is that it looks like Mother Nature is taking over the map. There's nobody to, cut the grass. So it makes sense that we would see a lot of weeds growing everywhere, buildings decaying as well, because there's nobody around to maintain them. We the players are of course busy trying to survive and fight the zombies, so we can't really go around maintaining buildings and cutting the grass. But speaking of the zombies, it looks like the spawn distance is going to be increased as well. As we know right now, the zombies don't really spawn around all that much. As far as I understand it, they spawn in when we get close to a certain place. So if we take a look at a city from a distance, we won't really see any zombies, but as we get close to said city, they will spawn in because we just entered the area. But it looks like that's not going to be the case for much longer. In this clip here, we can see that the zombie gets sniped at around 200 meters. So their spawn distance is going to be increased with future updates. Now, one thing that I thought was a bit of a joke was the trash ghillie suit. A ghillie actually made out of trash, out of cardboard boxes and whatnot. I thought that it was a bit of a joke, and I thought that it wasn't all that viable, but as it turns out, I was wrong. The trash ghillie will come to the video game, and it will be viable as well. As we can see in this picture here in the big city up north, it will be very useful. It took me a second to spot it, but check it out. If we take a look right here next to these boxes, we actually have a player wearing the suit and holding a weapon as well. This thing might come in handy, and it might actually be very useful, of course, in certain places around the map. And speaking of certain places around the map, some areas will be reworked a little bit, or parts of some certain areas will be reworked, like for example this submarine here. I was thinking as I was looking at these pictures, it would be crazy if we could go down in the submarine. Not to actually use it, but go down there and loot around. Imagine how intense it would be to run into a player down there in the submarine. Fighting somebody in that tight space would be intense for sure. Also, the Kinglet Mariner airplane is making a return as well. The plane that we can actually land on water. I don't know if this is going to be an entirely new plane, or if we are going to be able to somehow modify the plane that is already in the video game. But one thing is for sure, the Mariner will be coming back to the game. And we might actually have some new vehicles as well, like this bike with one of these sidecards. Is that what they're called? I hope so, sidecards. This thing might make its way into the video game as well sooner or later. And last but not least is of course the biggest addition that will come with the 1.0 update, and that is the armed NPCs. So we are going to have actual armed enemies that we are going to be able to go up against around the map. Now it seems like they've been playing their cards fairly close to their chest with this one. We don't know all that much about them. Some different variations have been teased here and there, and we saw those armored up enemies which look beefy to say the least. But we also saw some, lower gear enemies. Some of them had bows and arrows and whatnot, but I'm not sure if they were scrapped or if they will still come to the video game. We'll have to wait and see what kind of enemies the devs will add to the game, but we don't have to wait for all that much time since quarter 2 of the year is just around the corner. But there we have it. That is about it from me today. Let me know down below what you guys think about all of these upcoming additions, and I will see you in the next one with some more video games.